250th anniversary of our nation, which you spoke about. Is there a particular moment in the founding of our nation that has always resonated with you?
Well, I think when you look at the wars, the revolution itself, you take a look at what took place. It's that 1776 is amazing. It's interesting. We gave our military a bonus, and it was $1,775. And I looked at the number, and I had to sign off on it. I said, wait a minute. This is $1,775. If we add one more dollar, Harvey, it's 1776. And I had to get approval. Can you believe? Actually, $1 is actually a lot, but it's not that much. And so we made it 1776. It's just special. I mean, the whole place, it's a special country. But when you look at some of the movies and documentaries about the founding of our country and all of the great people, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Lincoln later, but Thomas Jefferson, all of the original founders, and some of the ones that are least known are actually the most important and the most interesting, actually. But when you look at all, then you have the Civil War. The Civil War was brutal. It was a brutal. I always said, why couldn't that have been settled? And maybe it could have been, but it was a brutal war. It was supposed to last one day, and because Robert E. Lee was an amazing general, I deal with generals a lot. And I ask, who was the best general? A lot of them say Robert E. Lee, because he took something that was supposed to end in one day, and it went 4 years. And with the exception of Gettysburg, that was not good. That was not a good one. It was not a good day for him. But if that didn't happen, he would have actually won. They were going for New York, and they heard they were going up a hill, Harvey, just going up a hill. Robert E. Lee heard that. Stonewall Jackson was killed as great general, and so he didn't have him. He had another general, and they were going up, and he sent 5 messengers on 5 horses, hoping that one would get through because they were all being shot. It was a bloodbath, and it was never fight uphill, me boys, never fight uphill. He was fought uphill, and they just got wiped out. But that whole, to me, the Robert E. Lee era with Ulysses S. Grant, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, to me, that is such an amazing. You can learn so much from it, but it was such an amazing time, such a horrible time, beautiful in certain ways, but such a horrible, horrible time. We have a fascinating country, whether you're talking about 1776 or a little bit later on, or I think right now, in many ways, I believe we're in the golden age of America. I'm glad he actually asked me this question, because I just used a term that I didn't use when I was leaving. I didn't say we are in the golden age, Harvey, of America, and we're living it. And I think it's a very exciting time right now.
I'm glad you liked one of my questions, sir. As someone who came from the business world, you're now in the political world. What is the biggest difference between being a leader of a company versus being a leader of a country, if any?
I can get myself into big trouble. Well, a lot of people ask it in a little different form. They say, who's tougher, politicians or businessmen? Because I dealt with both at the highest level. And I always said, businessmen are much tougher. They're not even close. But then I spent a little time in Washington. And now I say it's not even close. These politicians are ruthless, vicious. They are liars, unlike our people from our great town council. But these are vicious people. I mean, what I see, Shifty, Schiff, all these crazy people that we have to deal with, think of it. Comey, how's he doing? No, the people that we deal with in Washington, they are very tough. And even the leaders of other countries, look, now we're dealing with Iran. So when they used to ask me that question for the first, Meg, I'd say for the first month, I would say, businessmen. After about a month and a half, after getting impeached twice for nothing, I said, politicians are far worse, far worse. Yeah, right. So it's a big difference. I will say this. There's nothing more beautiful than a really good politician who's honorable. There's nothing more beautiful than an honorable prosecutor. You have some of these prosecutors, they're dirty cops, and you have others that are very fair. And I think the world of the prosecutors is a very important world. You have to have fair prosecutors, and some of them aren't fair. I mean, I was a part of it, and I was able to beat a system that was brutal. A lot of people didn't think it was doable, and we did. But having really, because it's a very important position, the prosecutors are very powerful and they can destroy people unfairly, and they can, they can also do a good job. But having smart and fair prosecutors is a very important part of the world in which we live. I think that makes sense, but I feel very strongly about that, yeah.
Last question. Well, it's a two-part question. What is the most bizarre thing that you've encountered as president, and what still surprises you about the job even in your second term?
Well, if I told him what was the most bizarre thing, I'd have to probably resign in about 3 minutes as I walked off the stage. You think I'm getting there? I'm not. But the one thing so I won't respond to that question. But you would be very interested. But I just think that it's a great honor to be doing what I'm doing. And, you have everybody watching, everybody looking, everybody second guessing. Some are very fair and very, good, and you learn from them and you take what they suggest or what they're complaining about in some cases if they're fair, and others, no matter what you do, it's like you can have a baseball team and win 21-0, and they'll say you should have won 25-0, right? Because we've done really a job. We're being credited of having the best first year of a term of any president. I think it is. I mean, when you look at all the regulation cuts, all of the tax cuts, all of the law and order things, I mean, the border as an example, we settled 8 wars, and nobody settled 8 wars. In fact, the woman that won, a very nice woman, Maria, she won the Nobel Peace Prize, and she said, what? Nobody should win that but Donald Trump. She said, Donald Trump should win it more than any other person that won it. And she actually gave me her Nobel Prize. She's a terrific person. But I just say this, it's a great honor to do it. I think it's bigger than I thought. When I was thinking about running early on in 2015, 2014, before I ran, I had no idea it would be this big. I had no idea we could make this kind of an impact. But we've really made an impact. In a little bit more than a year, we've turned this country around. I thought it would take longer than that, but we've turned it around. And again, we're the hottest country. The King of Saudi Arabia said it. I was over there a year ago, and I said to him, we were there after 4 or 5 months, it was obvious what was happening. But he looked at me and he said, President, I must tell you, I thought America was dead. We weren't going to invest. Nobody was going to invest. You had a country that was dead, and now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And we do. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and we want to keep it that way. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.